Then we are going to do Neo-Structuralism, culture personality school, symbolic interpretative theories. Today we will be doing all this. So first, structuralism. See, if someone is asking you a question, critically analyze the role of binary oppositions in Lévi-Strauss theory. How many of you will you be able to answer this question? Can somebody tell me the approach to this question quickly? I am audible, right? Someone of you have to answer. Chirag, are you there? One more Chirag. Okay. See, what is binary opposition? I'll tell you one thing. Lévi-Strauss, what is his theory? Lévi-Strauss says that culture, whatever you are seeing, this culture is nothing but the mental structures that are present in your mind. And if you have to understand these mental structures, you have to utilize the general tendency of human thought. So the concept of binary opposition refers to the way human thought tends to categorize experiences into paired contrasts. Okay, so human thought or general tendency of a human being is to think in binary oppositions, and man always thinks in terms of paired contrasts, which is nothing but binary opposition, such as nature, culture, life, death, male, female, raw, cooked. So, according to him, if you have to understand the social structure, whatever the culture that is there in reality, first you should understand mental structure. To understand that mental structures, you have to utilize the binary oppositions because it is the way human understands and thinks. Okay, so binary oppositions are nothing but cognitive structures of the human mind. So Lévi-Strauss is influenced by structural linguistics. So here, Ferdinand de Saussure introduced the idea that language is a system of signs. Okay, so language is nothing but it is a system of signs, and these signs will get the meaning only based on other signs. Okay, so language has got things in it, and these things have meaning only based on the other signs. Okay, so the meaning arises from differences between the signs, not from the signs themselves. So this has influenced the Lévi-Strauss. Lévi-Strauss applied this to culture, and just like you have phonemes in language, see, suppose you have cat. Okay, so the sound of A and C and T separately do not have any importance, but its link with the others have given its importance. Okay, so similarly, Lévi-Strauss applied this to culture. just as phonemes are meaningless alone, sorry. So just as phonemes are meaningless alone, but meaningful in opposition. So these phonemes are meaningless alone, but they are meaningful in opposition. Similarly, culture has got its elements. So the cultural elements such as myth, rituals, kinship, kinship rules, these things have got meaning only based on their position in a system of contrasts. See, I'll tell you through example how he applied. So what is he trying to say? See, if you're taking one phoneme or one letter, it has got no meaning. But if you combine with other, then only it has got its meaning. Right? See, the same thing this person has applied, getting influenced by here, he applied to culture. He said that even culture also has got elements. These individually do not have meaning, but these elements derive their meaning from their position in a system of contrast. So wherever there is opposition, there only it has got meaning. So he explained myth. So in the famous book, Raw and Cooked, in the famous book, Raw and Cooked, Lévi-Strauss analyzed the South American tribes. So he analyzed the South American tribes, okay, and he saw their myths. These people are arguing that these people are using the fire to cook food. Okay, these South American tribes are using the fire to cook food. So now he studied these people's myths, and from there he argued that myths, what are myths? Myths are nothing but they are the mediators. Okay, so myths symbolically mediate the natural raw food and cultural cooked food or cultural cooked food. So raw is natural. So you are using the fire to cook. This is cultural. So cooking becomes a metaphor for cultural transformation of nature. Okay, so now I'll explain you that in South America there are Bororo tribes. These people have myths. These myths are saying that fire is a civilizational tool, or fire is nothing but a civilizing tool, according to their myth. So fire here transforms the raw meat, which is nature based, into cooked food that is culture based. So now fire is resolving the nature cultural. Okay, so this is nature culture binary opposition. So fire is resolving the nature culture binary. Such oppositions reflect the structure of the unconscious mind. Okay, so according to him, this is showing how your mind at unconscious level is trying to think in binary oppositions. So when he looked at the myths, myths are trying to solve some contradictions. Okay, so myth is not there to explain something. Okay, so if you are looking at myth, you will think that it is a story and it is explaining something. But according to Lévi-Strauss, he says that these are there not to explain something, but to resolve conceptual contradictions. And these contradictions are rooted in binary oppositions inherent in the human cognitions. Okay, so normally we think in binary oppositions. So we have many contradictions in our brain, okay, in our thought process. And these contradictions are resolved using the myths. So myths are not explaining anything, but according to him, these are something which are going to resolve these conceptual contradictions. So according to him, myths across the diverse cultures share universal structures. Okay, so you see myth in one society and you see myth in other society, and he says that everywhere people will think in the oppositions. So that means these myths also will have a similar universal structures. Okay, and what do myths do? Myths mediate these oppositions. Myths mediate these oppositions. So am I clear to here? Can you please respond if you are clear? Please quickly respond if you are clear. Just say yes. Rashid, are you clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Chirag, see, normally when we listen to any myth, we feel that they are explaining some story. But when you look at Lévi-Strauss, he's telling that it is not explaining any story. It is trying to link two opposites, so which will help you understand. Okay, which will help you understand the contradiction and resolve it. So that is what he's saying. I hope you are clear, Chirag. If you have any doubt, you can please unmute and ask. I'll help you in resolving it. Okay, I hope you have understood myths, because they have asked myths, but they did not ask regarding these things in detail. So tomorrow they can ask anything.
So
Now,
I have a question regarding myth.
yeah, please go ahead.
So in terms of how Levi-Strauss has defined myth, it is like a mediator to the opposition. For example, the opposition between nature and culture. So,
Yeah,
so how does he basically define myth? Basically, because when you hear conventionally the word myth, you think of like a supernatural phenomena. So,
okay, that is what I'm telling. Like, he said that he did not define myth. He said that myths are something which symbolically mediate the binary oppositions. They help in resolving the contradictions that are present in the conceptual contradictions between the binary opposition. Okay,
uh,
so this
so
is
his
what he has said. Yeah,
sorry, sir, sorry to interrupt you. Please
yeah,
continue.
please.
So basically, he did not define myth in a
Yeah,
way
yeah.
that we think of myth
No. That is what
conventionally.
he's contradicting it, first of all. Why will he define again? He's saying that myths are not explaining anything, actually.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. But
Yes.
what we think according to us, it is a belief or something that, etc. Right?
Yes,
So
sir.
there is one thing known as bricolage. Okay, so he has used the word bricolage.
Okay.
Generally, this
Bricolage.
is too depth. Like, I don't think we have to discuss much about it. But
All right.
bricolage is nothing but, see, I'll give you a small example. You have a bicycle, okay? So and now bicycle, this it met with an accident and all the parts uh, fell here and there. So bolt got loose and it fell here and there. Now a person will come, a person from the village will come and he'll not order the new parts. He will pick all of them and he'll try to fit in again and he'll try to go.
Okay.
Okay. So in a similar way, what he was saying is that there are two types of people. One is engineer and other is bricolage. Engineer is someone who tries to create something new. Okay. So I'll tell you, uh, don't get confused. Just try to understand this carefully.
All right.
Yeah. So now engineer will try to create things from new. And the bricologist is a person who will utilize the existing ones. Okay. So engineer will create, he said there are two things, bricolage and engineer. Engineer is someone who tries to invent, okay,
Yes, sir.
something
Yes,
new.
yes.
And bricolage is someone who tries to use the existing materials. So suppose if you see engineer, when he is constructing, he'll say that I need these exact materials. He knows what he needs before, and he will create something. He has some vision. But whereas a bricologist is someone who just thinks that, okay, I should utilize the existing material that I have and I have to work it, make it work.
Yes, sir.
Suppose if you see in a village, people need decorations but have little money. So what they will do, they'll use old saris, coconut leaves, bamboo sticks, colored papers. From these materials, they create beautiful decorations. This is called bricolage. Nothing completely new was created. Existing materials were rearranged creatively.
Okay.
So similarly here, bricolage is someone, instead of creating entirely new belief system, these people connect the animal with existing myths, existing spirits, existing symbols, existing rituals. So the culture adapts by using old ideas to explain new realities. So this is called as cultural bricolage. So cultural bricolage is nothing but we have a lot of things. Now to explain something new, you will combine the old one to explain the new reality. Okay.
Basically, you'll give something old a new meaning. If I'm,
I
if
didn't
I'm,
get it.
if I, okay.
I didn't get you. Can you please repeat?
So basically, they're utilizing an old concept like myth to explain something
Yes, yes.
different.
But
That is,
however, this meets the criticism again, because even engineer also doesn't create everything new.
Mhm.
He utilizes something that is already existing, right?
Hmm.
So there is nothing known as engineer and bricolage. Everybody is a bricolage in some or other way.
Yes.
But according to Lévi-Strauss, tribal people are bricoleurs.
Okay.
But Jacques Derrida, who criticized the Lévi-Strauss, says that not just tribal people, not just ordinary people, even scientists, philosophers, and Lévi-Strauss himself is bricoleur.
Mhm.
Because every idea comes from a previous idea, every theory comes from earlier theory, every culture uses earlier cultural materials. So it is how all human thinking works, right? So he criticized, Jacques Derrida has criticized Lévi-Strauss for this.
All right. All right.
Okay, so now
Yes.
why did I say this bricolage part? So even he says that the myths are created to explain something. New myths are created using the old ones to explain the new cultural realities.
Mhm.
Okay, and now
Yes.
coming to myth, let's move forward. So here I understood. Have you understood that first thing he applied binary oppositions in myth and culture? First thing, I hope you are clear. In the book Raw and Cooked Food, he has applied it, and in the Bororo Red Indians, he has talked about it. Then he told that myths are mediators of binary oppositions. This you're clear, right? Then the important thing here is under myths as mediators that Lévi-Strauss introduced the term my theme. My theme is nothing but basic unit of a myth. See, now in language, phoneme is a basic thing, right? How many of you are not aware about phoneme? If somebody is not, please quickly tell me, I'll explain. Phoneme is nothing but the smallest individual unit of sound. Okay. Like you have sounds, right? If you see that for cat, CAT, So these are the small sound that is created because of these letters is called as phoneme. So this is what is phoneme. Just like phoneme is the basic unit, mytheme is the basic unit of myth. Here phoneme is the basic unit of language. So each mytheme is representing the single component. So this is nothing but basic unit and it is one of the component of the larger structure. And he says that myths are not linear stories. They are bundles of oppositions arranged into structures through correspondence and transformation. See, I would like to tell you one thing. Is my screen visible?
No, sir.
Not visible? Is it visible now?
No, sir.
No?
No.
Oh, okay. It's visible. I hope it's visible. Right? It's visible, right? Please respond.
Yes, sir. Now it's visible.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, done. Okay, so now you see that. So my themes are the smallest unit of entire myth. So when in the bigger structure, it is a small component. Okay. Now, if you see myths, like when you listen to Oedipus myth, you will feel like you are listening to a story. So a person killing everyone, killing father, marrying to the mother, having children. So this sounds a different story altogether. But if you see the story linearly, that means line by line, you won't get the exact meaning. But if you want to get the exact meaning, you have to find the binary oppositions in them, arrange them, and try to understand. So now you identify the my themes, and my themes are arranged in the binary oppositions. And based on these binary oppositions, you will try to understand the meaning that is present at the subconscious level. So if somebody doesn't know about Oedipus myth, please ping me. I'll share you the lecture. Just see that 10-minute story of explanation of Oedipus myth. You will be understanding how the binary oppositions are arranged. Okay. Now, when you listen to what I said, that a person killing the father, then marrying the mother, then feeling guilt about it. So that is one part of the story. But actually, if you see, it is a completely arrangement of lot of binary oppositions, and this will give some bigger meaning at the unconscious level. Okay, so he has analyzed almost 800 plus myths, and this he has given in the mythologic series. So the name of the work is Mythologics. 1964 to 71. So especially in his famous works, From Honey to Ashes, The Origin of Table Manners, Naked Man. So he has written plenty of works, so not to worry about them. But here he is trying to explain that how the myth works. So myth has got smallest unit known as mythemes, and these are part of the larger structures. And these mythemes have got meaning, and these are not enough to explain individually. These are only explainable in binary oppositions. Okay, so I told you, right, the cultural elements have got meaning only in opposition to the others, or else individually it has got no meaning. Okay, so then there is a myth of Asdiwal, one of the most cited examples is his analysis of myth of Asdiwal. So he presented this in the book Structural Anthropology. The myth of Asdiwal is discussed in the book Structural Anthropology in 1958. So the myth recorded among the Tlingit people of North America. So there he observed a lot of symbolic oppositions. There is sky. So sky is related to father, and spiritual realm. Okay, spiritual realm. See, if somebody doesn't know the story, I kept my video open on YouTube. There I have discussed the myth in detail because that is all complete basics. So he observed the earth. So sky is nothing but father and spiritual realm. And here earth is the mother and material realm. Okay. So then he also noticed mother versus wife. That means mother is the natal family. Wife is through affinal relationship. So here he is trying to show that mother versus wife is also binary opposition. So natal family versus affinal relationship. Then he also showed nature versus culture. Nature means animal realm. So where the animals are involved in the story. And then you have culture, that is social norms. See, somebody doesn't know the Asdiwal myth story. And again, I'm telling you that this is clearly discussed in my video and it is on YouTube. So for 5-10 minutes, please watch it. You'll get a bigger clarity. So here Asdiwal's journey from his earthly family to celestial marriage represents the transition from nature to culture. Okay. So I hope like in the past you might have read about the Asdiwal myth, but if you haven't, so since it's already asked, I don't think that we have to spend more time on discussing the same thing. But if somebody didn't knew it before, I'll share the link. You can watch it there directly. Timestamp I'll provide. Okay, so I think you have understood his contribution to myth. So various myths which he has discussed and what he is talking about. Myth. So tomorrow, any question comes on myth, you should be able to answer. Any doubts now on myth? Please, please. Yeah. Namrata, I'll give you the video links. So where directly you can watch that short 10 minutes description of this Oedipus myth and the Asdiwal myth. Both of them I have discussed. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank
Yeah.
Sir, is it recommended to take running notes or we should just focus on listening the lecture?
You just listen to the lecture. This I'll give you the summary.
Okay.
Okay. So focus on listening. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'll give you the summary of all the things that I'm. Because you know in the examination you need a flow. Okay. So if I'm giving the notes, that flow cannot come unless and until you understand. So next, like Lévi-Strauss alliance theory is something that they can ask, and they can also say that examine Lévi-Strauss alliance theory. How do concepts of exchange and binary opposition demonstrate his structural analysis of kinship? So first, whenever you write, you have to say that. So Lévi-Strauss explained the alliance theory using the basic premises. Okay, using the basic premises such as incest taboo. So who considered the incest taboo as a universal cultural rule that initiates the process of intergroup alliance by prohibiting in-group sexual relations, thereby mandating exogamy. So he says that he explained alliance theory based on what? Using the basic premises as such incest taboo. So which he considered this is universal rule. So what is the condition? He's thinking this is universal rule, and this makes the process of intergroup alliance. That means intergroup means you are having alliance with other group by prohibiting in-group sexual relations. Okay, thereby you are mandating the exogamy. So where did he explain this in the book? The elementary structures of kinship. Okay, elementary structures of kinship, written in 1949. So there he said that the prohibition of incest is not so much a rule of avoidance as a rule of alliance. So he's telling that incest taboo, okay, is not so much as a, or not so much a rule of avoidance. It is not much about avoidance. It is much about alliance. That is what he's saying in the book. Okay. So this idea draws heavily on the Marcel Mauss. Okay. So where did he get this? He was influenced by Marcel Mauss. So who talked about the reciprocity in the book, The Gift? In 1925, he talks about the gift. He says that the act of giving, receiving, and reciprocating gifts is fundamental to social life. And Lévi-Strauss extended this framework to marriage, where women are exchanged as symbolic gifts to establish social solidarity. Okay, so now, first thing, incest taboo. Second thing, the influence of Marcel Mauss concept of reciprocity in social relation. So this transformation, okay, this, whatever you notice, this transforms a biological impulse incest possibility into a social mechanism creating enduring networks. Okay, so the concept of exchange in Lévi-Strauss kinship analysis. So you can see that Lévi-Strauss has revolutionized the study of kinship. He has challenged the dominant descent theory, which was prevalent among the British anthropologists, like A.R. Radcliffe Brown. That Radcliffe Brown, if you see, he was one who emphasized the descent. Okay, so descent theory talks about the transmission of property, rituals, social roles, and obligations that are there to the next generation through the blood ties. Okay, so descent theory emphasizes on the consanguinity, that is, on the blood ties. Consanguinity. So this was emphasized. Consanguinity is nothing but blood ties. So they emphasized on this, but Lévi-Strauss has shifted the focus to marriage and affinal ties, thereby laying the foundation of alliance theory. Okay, so in Lévi-Strauss' view, the essential function of marriage is not merely biological reproduction, but more importantly, it is in the creation of social alliances between the different groups. So he conceptualized marriage as a system of exchange of women. Okay, here women are regarded both as a value and a sign in the context of intergroup relationship. So woman has got both the values. Okay. Are you clear till here? Clear, everyone? So I told you two words here. Women are regarded both as value and sign in the context of intergroup relationships. As a value, the exchange of women carries profound social, economical, and political significance. It can facilitate mutual cooperation, secure political alliances, and enhance the power dynamics between different kin groups. This is the value. And it is also acting as a sign. The movement of a woman through marriage serves to symbolize the establishment, continuation, or transformation of social relationships. So it conveys messages about groups, group boundaries, obligations, and the principle of reciprocity. Are you clear with the second part that I'm talking about? Uh, Please unmute and try to answer that, whether you're clear or not.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So this process of exchanging women becomes a central mechanism through which social bonds are created and social cohesion is maintained. So now, because it is creating bonds and social cohesion, it creates interdependence among the groups, which in turn reduces internal hostilities and fosters the long-term cooperation. If you see, while explaining the incest taboo, theories explaining incest taboo, you will be noticing the cooperation theory by E.B. Taylor, which was later expanded by Lévi-Strauss. So here you can understand that cooperation theory which he got influenced by. Okay.
Sir, can you please repeat what you just said about the cooperation theory?
See, cooperation theory, E.B. Taylor's, like if you see E.B. Taylor's incest, E.B. Taylor's explanation of incest.
Mm-hmm.
So what he says, okay, E.B. Taylor says that why is incest existing or why has incest come into picture? He says that at one point of time, there were stronger groups, there are weaker groups. See, weaker groups cannot fight with the stronger groups because they're weak and they would be killed by the stronger group. So now what is the option for them? The option for them to survive, is to surrender. So they had same knowledge, same technology. Now only differentiating factor that they had was women. Okay. So that's why they were exchanging women with the other group. They were giving the women to other group and they're saving themselves. They're saving their lives. So now when they started giving women to the other group, they're not marrying within their own group. Now, if they're not marrying with their own group, that means they have started practicing incest taboo. Right?
Yes,
Are
sir.
you clear? So that is the cooperation theory that has been given, and the theory has explanation later continued by Lévi-Strauss. Okay, so whatever I have said, it is a combination of both E.B. Taylor's view and Lévi-Strauss. So now you are seeing here the exchange of women. It is becoming a central mechanism through which social bonds are created and social cohesion is maintained. Okay, so now when you are exchanging women, it is creating interdependence among the groups. Now, when it is creating dependence between the two, your hostilities will decrease, right?
Yes, sir.
So that is what he's saying, and your hostilities will decrease and it will foster the long-term cooperation. Clear?
Yes, sir. Great.
Now, there are two major forms of marital exchange according to Lévi-Strauss, that is restricted exchange and the generalized exchange. Yeah. So now restricted exchange means that there is group A, there is group B. If group A gives sister in marriage to group B should reciprocate giving a sister in marriage to group A. Okay, that means there are only two groups and there is a direct exchange. So you are not allowed to go beyond these groups. Okay. Are you getting my point?
So your screen is not visible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Just when you started talking about the two forms, otherwise it was fine before that.
Okay, no worries. I didn't write anything although. So the temperatures are so high. These Apple devices get stuck. I think now it's visible.
Yes.
So okay. So we have a restricted exchange and generalized exchange. Generalized exchange is nothing but there is group A. I'm sorry, extremely sorry. So generalized exchange is nothing but there are multiple groups, group A, group B, group C. Okay. Yeah. Now group A will give women to group B, group B will be giving women to group C, and group C will eventually give back to group A. Group A to group B to group C, and group C will again give back to group A. So in this form, exchange occurs in a cyclical manner. So the exchange is between more than two groups without direct reciprocity. See, one person is giving to other. Reciprocity is there, but there is no direct reciprocity. So here you have seen two types, right? There is group A, group B, one giving to other. So this form of exchange fosters strong reciprocal relationship and a sense of federation between the exchange groups. Whereas generalized exchange sustains long-term alliances and trust across the larger network. So here it is involving larger network and with less immediate reciprocity than restricted exchange. See, here there is immediate reciprocity. Here there is less immediate reciprocity. So this you need to understand. Okay, these forms of exchange are particularly evident in elementary kinship structures. So where prescriptive rules prevail. So where do you see this? So giving what is prescriptive rule? Prescriptive means prescriptive rules. Prescriptive means somebody is prescribing. When doctor prescribes, you can't go beyond what doctor is saying, right? So you can't take whatever the medicine you like. Similarly, here prescriptive rules means they'll be telling you whom you should be marrying. Okay. So now where are you noticing these kind of elementary kinship structures? These elementary kinship structures are present where there are prescriptive rules. Okay. So rules specify that whom one must marry. In such societies, marriage functions as a strategic alliance, not only by producing kin, but also binding the groups into structured social systems. So now, after the elementary structures of kinship, okay, he originally intended to write a sequel focusing on complex kinship structures. Complex kinships, see, elementary kinship structures are those kinship structures where the prescriptive rules are present, where somebody is telling whom to marry. But if those rules are absent, then he called it as a complex kinship structures. So he thought of writing a sequel on this, but slowly he turned his scholarly attention to the study of myth. But however, he argued that even in complex kinship systems, where rules are more flexible, the underlying logic of a marriage, so even there also, the underlying logic of marriage is nothing but a system of alliance and exchange. Okay, so that is what he has said. So he gave the binary opposition logic even in kinship organization also. He believed that human cognition is binary and cultural systems, including kinship, reflect the oppositional logic. So he said examples of parallel cousins versus cross cousins, wife givers versus wife takers, consanguinal versus affinal. Okay, so in Dravidian kinship systems, if you see Telugu and Tamil societies, cross cousin marriages are preferred, while parallel cousins are classified as siblings. So this reflects a binary categorization that is both socially operational and terminologically marked. You can see these are being operated socially. Okay, so now you go and see, they will think parallel cousins as siblings, cross cousins are preferred for marriage in South India, in Dravidian kinship systems. So this is with respect to kinship terminology. Okay, so he says that everything, see now to understand kinship, for everything he used the language, he got influenced by Ferdinand de Saussure, right? So he says that just like phoneme, it doesn't have any value without its relation with others. Even in kinship also, one term does not have a value without the other. See, suppose the term like mother gains meaning only in relation to father, in relation to child and sibling. Okay, just as words in language derive meaning from their opposition, not from intrinsic content. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Right? So are you clear with what Lévi-Strauss has talked about? Now I don't think structuralism theory should be bothering you anymore. Are you clear?
Yes, sir.
किसी को कुछ समझ नहीं आए तो बता देना, एक्सप्लेन कर दो. Please, someone who is not clear, please go ahead and ask. Don't hesitate for anything. I'm here to explain.
Sir, how does Lévi-Strauss apply binary opposition in complex structures?
उन्होंने उधर ये बताता है कि उधर भी एक्सचेंज ही है ना, तो वुमेन को एक्सचेंज करके ही अलायंस बना रहे हैं. So you are using women as a product of us versus them. Even there also, the concept is us versus them, in group versus out group.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So anyone else? So again, one more thing, because UPSC is going very unconventional these days, so that's why I'm not leaving anything. I just want you people to be ready with everything that is going to be asked, and it is very simple as well, not that difficult. Just giving some time. I don't think we have to be in such. If we are giving some time, then we shouldn't have to worry what UPSC will ask, so that we don't skip anything. Okay, now next part is totemism. So Lévi-Strauss has talked about totemism. So totemism, what is totemism? It refers to symbolic relationship between human groups and natural species, often plants or animals, sometimes which serve as symbols or emblems of social identity or regulation or cosmology, whatever it may be. So it's just relationship between human groups and the natural species. Okay, so the concept got evolved over across anthropological schools of thought, but Lévi-Strauss, Claude Lévi-Strauss redefined the understanding. So whatever the understanding that was there present, that was present before, he redefined it. He, in his seminal work, the name of the work is Totemism. His work is Totemism, 1962. So here he said, totemism is not a distinct institution. Is not a distinct institution. Previously, people were saying that totemism is like religion. It is a distinct institution. But now he said, no, it is not a distinct institution, but it is part of the universal. It is part of the universal human capacity of the human capacity for classification of the natural and cultural. Or natural and social word or cultural word, whatever. So what is the traditional understanding? There is a totem, there is a plant or animal. Okay, so totem serves as a unifying emblem of the group. Totem will create solidarity and identity. This is what M.L. Durkheim says that, right? So rituals, customs, and prohibitions are connected to the totemic entity. So this will reinforce the social cohesion and the perceived kinship between group and the natural world. So whatever I was saying is talked by the Emil Durkheim. But now Lévi-Strauss comes into picture. He did not prioritize what totemism is entailing in terms of functional or religious. Okay, he did not approach in that way. He's not talking what totemism is doing in terms of function or religious or historical content. But he emphasized how totemic systems are organized. What this structure is revealing about the cognitive process of human mind. See, I told you, right, whatever you are seeing in front of you, if you have to understand what is there in the mind of the person. Then only you'll understand what is there. You should not study directly. You should study the minds of the people. So from their cognitive process only, you will understand what is the structure. So now here also, he is trying to understand the totemic systems, how these totemic systems are organized and what this structure, so how they are organized and what this structure is revealing about the mind. So he characterized earlier anthropological works as adjectival studies. That means they're focusing on something superficial features rather than trying to understand what is clearly present here. They are trying to understand what is superficial. Okay, religion, function, historical content. They're not trying to study what is there in reality and substantive. Okay, so he asserted that totemism was not a distinct institution, but was rather a constructed category invented. Okay, so it is a constructed. See, he says that this is a constructed category. This is invented and over-analyzed by the anthropologist. So the so-called problem of totemism, the so-called problem of totemism according to Lévi-Strauss, emerged from a mischaracterization of totemic practices as isolated anomalies rather than variations of universal classificatory tendency. See, now what is he saying? That he's using too much of technical jargon to explain, but if I have to put it in a simple way, he's saying that, see, you are trying to treat totemism as something separate. You're trying to see it as something isolated. You're not trying to see it as a part of universal tendency of classifying people or classifying things. He says that there is general human tendency to classify, and you are not trying to understand it like that, but rather you are trying to see it as a superficial thing, function, religion, etc. So he is deviating from the general explanation of totemism. He says that totemism is nothing but it is organization. It is about organization, and there is something behind its organization. Okay, so he says that the concept of totemism at the core of his theory, totemism operates through an analogical relationship between two distinct series. So here, what are the two distinct series? Natural and cultural. So natural series include categories. In the natural, you have various categories, animals or plants. Okay, so I'll tell you, he says that totem or totemism operates through an analogical relationship between the two distinct series, natural and cultural. So in the natural, you have categories. Category means you can say animal category or plant category, or you can have particulars. Particular means you are naming particular animal, or individual plants. So then culture has also got categories. Okay, so here it has got groups, and here it has got individuals. But okay, so here culture also got groups and individuals. So he said that totemism arises from structural alignment between perceived differences in nature and the analogous differentiation in the social organization. Try to understand whatever the differences you notice in the nature. Okay, suppose there is a tiger which is fearful and which eats the goat. Now there is the difference in the nature between tiger and goat. Same analogy. Analogy means similarity you will notice in the social organization between the groups. Okay, so he says that totemism arises from structural alignment between perceived differences. So try to understand between perceived differences in nature, between perceived differences in nature and analogous differences in social organization. So whatever the differences that are there in the nature, same similarity you'll be noticed among the social organization. So totemism is coming from there. Okay, the structural alignment between the perceived differences in nature and analogous differences in the social organization. So the key insight is that it is not the resemblances, but the differences. See, somebody is having a tiger, so that doesn't mean that they are looking like a tiger. And somebody is having totem as goat, that doesn't mean they are similar to goat. No, it is not about how they are resembling, but they are about differences. That means they are with respect to other group. So social distinctions that are there, they are mapped through the natural differences. Okay, so they are using the natural world as a mirror for the conceptualizing social relationship. So he is telling that how the relation should be there between two groups. So they'll give totem. Okay, somebody has got tiger, somebody has got goat. So whatever the relationship that is there between this tiger and goat, these groups also will be having that kind of relationship. Somebody may be close, somebody may be as enemies. Okay, so just try to understand this. So I'll give you 2 minutes of time. I'll also take 2 minutes of break. Okay, so you also try to analyze on this, and if you have any doubts, you can ask. Okay, is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we are going to do other theories also. It might extend to 9:30 also. So be patient. I'm recording this video as well. I'll be providing the recorded video as well. So let's take a small break. You can also take a break of 5 to 10 minutes if possible. So after that, we'll continue and we'll try to finish the Neo-Structuralism, culture personality school, symbolic interpretative theory. See, Lévi-Strauss theory is something where people get more confused. They don't understand. They waste time on rote learning. So I thought I'll simplify it and I'll help you cover it quickly. though if it takes even 1 hour as well. All right. Please just respond. Is it okay? Any difference of opinion? Anshika, is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Okay then. Take a small break. We'll get back. Okay, can we start? Okay. 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 So right. Now I told you that Lévi-Strauss is saying that whatever these people previously, the structural functionalists that are there, Emile Durkheim or Radcliffe Brown, whatever these people have seen in terms of function or the structural functional aspect. So they I have noticed only superficial thing, but they did not observe the substantial aspect according to Lévi-Strauss. He says that these people have only seen superficial thing. They did not see the substantial. Actual substantial thing, according to Lévi-Strauss, what is it? According to them, the substantial thing is, according to Lévi-Strauss, substantial thing is that it is nothing but a classification that is universally present. Okay, totemism is nothing but they're classifying totems. Okay, this classification is just to mirror the real social relations. So if you are noticing totems, what you should understand from the totemic structure, from here individually you should not observe it. Okay, so when you are looking at one totem, you won't understand anything. Suppose if you have lion as a totem, then you should not think that you have all the qualities of lion. He says that observing individually will make no sense, because he always talks about the group. Okay, so category and the group. So he says that you should always look in terms of binary oppositions. So try to understand the difference between two totems, then you'll understand the relationship between the two groups. Okay, so this is what he's saying. So Lévi-Strauss categorized totemic associations into 4 basic types based on how nature and culture entities are paired. Okay, you have category and you have group. Okay, so like suppose you have kangaroo, species like kangaroo, that is a natural category associated with the cultural group. Okay, so then you have category and instead of group you have a person. So a natural category linked with the individual. This is seen where individual totemism in North American Indians. In North American Indians, you'll be noticing where individuals develop personal association with the specific species. Then after category, you have particular. Particular means particular animal or particular plant is considered as totem of the person. Okay, so here group and individual. Here now particular animal. Suppose a particular natural entity. Suppose first animal, sometimes seen by the pregnant woman, is connected to that individual. So now that particular animal is connected to the individual. So this is one type of totemic association. And then you have particular and the group, or see now culture, you have seen group, culture, you have seen individual. Particular, you are seeing group, particular, you are seeing individual. So particular and group, if you see, when a natural entity, particular natural entity is linked with a social group. If you see in the Africa, okay, so sacred crocodiles in Africa and garden lizards in New Zealand, okay, so they are linked to the particular social group. So now that particular animal or natural entity is linked to the social group. So these are the 4 ways of association, okay, for 4 basic types of totemic association which Lévi-Strauss has categorized. Okay, so now I saw some doubt by Rashid, I guess. Okay, so you can please ask. Somebody has me some doubt regarding the Rahul. So he has asked that why any group accept goat as totem and not tiger? Doesn't sound weaker to them. See, you are not trying to ask why they are accepting or why they are not accepting. This is already there. They have accepted, then only you are studying. Okay. So we are not questioning why they are accepting, because that's not our interest. So we are not into that part, Rahul. So just we are trying to understand what is already there. We are not questioning them. Is it clear? Any doubt, please ask. Are you clear?
Sir, I got the particular ones, the last two, but I didn't understand the first two. Can you please explain them?
See, category means a group of animals. Okay. Suppose cats is a group of family. When it is linked to a particular group, then that is category of animals linked to a particular social group. And when the cat or category of animals is linked to a one individual, then that is the second type. Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is individual totemism. This is a group totemism.
Okay, sir.
Clear?
So, I have a question
Please,
about
go ahead.
Lévi-Strauss's view on structural linguistics, wherein in his book Structuralism and Ecology, he says that culture influences the structure and content of language.
Culture influences?
The structure and content of language.
Culture influences structure and content of language.
Does it happen? Because we're using language, we're using the example of language and for names to understand my themes, or basically human thought process. So I did not quite understand what is his view on structural linguistics, if that comes as a
Structural
question on its
linguistics
own.
is not something which he has commented about. He looked at what other people said and that he applied to the understanding of culture. Okay. So he did not talk about it. Somebody has talked about it. Ferdinand de Saussure and John Jacobson is something, okay, who has talked about it. And from their influence, he applied that to understand culture. So how the linguistics has the structure, he understood culture has got also has got the structure. And where are the meanings? Because if you see, you are talking, we are talking English, I am talking English, I'm using all the grammar. But do I know the grammar that I'm using? So by looking my language or whatever, I have two sentences of lines or two lines of English that I've spoken, can you understand the grammar? So the grammar is in the mind, right?
Yes, sir.
So in the similar way, he says that in culture also, things are in the mind. What you are seeing is something.
Oh, all right. I got it. I got it.
Right?
Basically, there are hidden rules.
Yeah, they are hidden rules.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome. Anything else? So shall we move to Neo-Structuralism? If somebody answers, then I'll be moving forward.
Yes, sir.
Okay, done. So here, Edmund Leach is called as Neo-Structuralist. Why is he called as Neo-Structuralist? So in contrast to Lévi-Strauss, Edmund Leach is known as Neo-Structuralist because he synthesized the structuralist theory along with the ethnographic dynamism. So is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, done. So Edmund Leach is labeled as neo-structuralist because he did not discard the structuralism outrightly, but he reformulated it to align more closely with the empirical data and historical specificity. See, if you see one of the famous work of him is Political Systems of Highland Burma. Okay, based on his field work among the Kachin and Shah people, okay, Kachin and Shah of northern Burma, he demonstrated that societies do not follow static social structures. See, according to Lévi-Strauss, what is it? He says that everywhere people think in same way. There is universal thought process of human tendency to think in binary oppositions, and these are going to remain same everywhere. These are irrespective of the history, okay, and these are going to be static also. But now when he saw here, he has observed that there are two systems among these people of northern Burma. So he observed that now there is only one society. Okay, the same society is as Gumlaw. Gumlaw means egalitarian. The same society after some time looked like Gumsaw. Gumsaw means hierarchical. He observed that this is moving in a cyclical way. Some days it is Gumlaw, some days it is Gumsaw. So he observed that these Gumlaw and Gumsaw changes, why are they happening? They are happening because material, ritual, and political factors are influencing the things. That's why the political transformation is happening between the two. So this challenged the Lévi-Strauss model of structure as logically consistent and ahistorical. According to Lévi-Strauss, it is ahistorical. It is not influenced by history, or it is logically consistent. Every time it is going to be same. But now here the binary oppositions are there. But these binary oppositions of Gumlaw and Gumsaw, these are not stable. Okay, and these are changing with time. And at the same time, how are these changing? Because the people are manipulating it pragmatically. According to their need, they are changing it. So that means there is involvement of people also, where Lévi-Strauss has rejected it. Okay, Lévi-Strauss said that this is already there in the minds and people are just executing what is there in the minds everywhere. But here he said that people involve and make decision, make changes. So Leach emphasized that cultural structures are shaped. So the structures are shaped and reshaped by human agency, human ritual power, and resource dynamics. So this makes structuralist logic useful. So whatever the structuralist logic that is given by Lévi-Strauss, it is useful. So he says that binary oppositions are there, but these binary oppositions are not static, they are dynamic. They are influenced by individual agency. At the same time, they are influenced by history. So these things, Lévi-Strauss, whatever has said, has been criticized by the Edmund Leach. Edmund Leach, in his famous work, there is a famous work known as Genesis as Myth. Genesis as Myth. So here he challenged by arguing that myths are ideologically and politically grounded narratives. Okay, so what Lévi-Strauss said? Lévi-Strauss said that myths are nothing but timeless expressions of human mind, and their function was logical, not historical. Now, whereas Leach went to Kachin state of Burma, and there he observed a lot of things, and now he challenged that, okay, logical is fine, but telling that it is not historical and no involvement of human agency, then he says that no, myths are ideologically and politically grounded narratives. They are shaped by the historical context in which they are told. Okay, so for example, the book of Genesis, according to Leach, okay, according to Edmund Leach, there is book of Genesis, according to Edmund Leach, reflected the ancient Israelite political struggles, ancient Israeli political struggles. And this ancient Israeli political struggles, see, book of Genesis here, according to Edmund Leach, it showed the ancient Israelis' political struggles. And this cannot be understood without the reference to that historical setting. So he asserted that reducing myth to just logic overlooks its function as a social tool for legitimizing the authority. See why people are using the tool. In the tool, in the myth, what they do in the myth, they say that okay, this family has done so good, and this family persons only should be ruling this nation, and this family person has got the powers, or they are the children of the gods, something of that sort. They are trying to assert or get the legitimacy, authority, and whatever the roles or the social hierarchy that is there, they are trying to create it within the real historical frameworks. Okay, so just telling it as a logic doesn't work according to Edmund Leach, and that's why he has criticized. Okay, and at the same time, Edmund Leach also criticized the Lévi-Strauss because he did not focus much on the ethnographic data. So Lévi-Strauss, especially elementary structures of kinship, whatever the work that we have discussed, this was created or constructed from already existing works. Okay, somebody has went to the field, somebody got the ethnographic works, and from those records and the comparative texts, he has created this elementary structures of kinship rather than the first-hand observations. That's why Edmund Leach has criticized, because his own observations among the Kachin has revealed that kinship rules, political authority, and ritual practice often diverge from the normative models. Okay, and they were negotiated according to the situation, because myth is not same every time. The myth will change according to the situation, and it is negotiated according to the situation. So he contended that real cultural systems are messier and less symmetrical than the Lévi-Strauss ideal types. Okay, so whatever the ideal types that Lévi-Strauss is saying, it is not that. They are more messier and they are less symmetrical. They are not as symmetrical as Lévi-Strauss is saying. So I hope you understand why Edmund Leach is considered as a neo-structuralist. He used structuralism, but he tried to differentiate himself through various factors which deviate from the structuralist theory. Clear? Hello everyone, here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now you are clear with Edmund Leach. Okay, they can ask you same thing. They can ask that what is Edmund Leach's concept of oscillating equilibrium? Okay, when they ask Edmund Leach concept of oscillating equilibrium, then how are you going to approach? Can somebody tell me?
Sir, we can talk about how the binary opposites are not static in the mind and they are dynamic depending on the needs of the people and according to the social and other aspects of society of the time.
Okay, oscillating equilibrium. The term oscillating equilibrium, can anybody please explain it?
Sir, it can be explained in terms of the political systems of Highland Burma, wherein there is an oscillation between Kumsa and Kumlao, the egalitarian and the hierarchical system.
Okay, here oscillating equilibrium refers to a situation in which a society maintains a systemic balance, not through structural status, but through cyclical shifts between alternative social configurations. So, a society is maintaining a systemic balance. But how is it maintaining? Is it maintaining balance through changing the structure? No, it is not changing the structure, but it is cyclically shifting between the two alternative social configurations. So by slowly shifting from one end to another and other end to this again. So this is the oscillating equilibrium. So equilibrium is maintained not by systemic balance, not by structural stasis. That means they did not create a structure which is giving balance. They are maintaining the balance by slowly shifting. So now you look at one point of they are here, then other point of time they are here, the other point of time they are here. Slowly it is oscillating from moving from here to here, and then again here to here. So by having a thorough shift, okay, so through cyclical shifts, between alternative social configurations, it is maintaining the balance. So that moving from one end to other end is known as oscillation, right? So to and fro motion is called as oscillation, right? Is everyone clear with respect to oscillating equilibrium? Oscillating equilibrium refers to a situation in which society maintains systemic balance, not through structural status, but through cyclical shifts between alternative configurations. See, Edmund Leach's formulation was heavily influenced by general system theory, okay? And the idea that social systems like ecosystems exhibit dynamic stability through change. Exhibit dynamic stability through change.
So basically, it also means that
Okay.
dynamism of resources plays a role in.
I didn't get you.
So in when we talk about oscillating equilibrium, do we also mean
Yes.
to say that the dynamism of resources also plays a role? So it's basically not just inherent
Yes, yes. Everything,
structures.
everything, not just the resources itself. Multiple things plays role in it. Okay. So unlike Lévi-Strauss structuralism, which emphasizes the deep-seated universal structures, Leach emphasized the flexibility and change in the structural logic. Okay, so I hope you're clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Very
please.
clear.
So now previously, Lévi-Strauss was saying that societies resolve contradictions, okay, between two binary oppositions using the myths or some other things to mediate them, okay. Now what Edmund Leach says is that, see, these people resolve the contradictions not by eliminating one pole, but by periodically moving between them, okay. So it is not eliminating one end to resolve, but it is periodically moving between them, thus maintaining a state of dynamic balance at all point of time. So if you see, the Gumlao and Gumsao are not separate ethnic groups. They are institutional modes that communities that are there are shifting between over time. I hope you have understood Edmund Leach's contribution.
Yes, sir. Very.
Any doubt in Edmund Leach's contribution, please quickly let me know. I'll try to explain. Any doubt here?
No, sir.
No, right? So I'll quickly try to tell you the difference between comparative analysis of Lévi-Strauss and Edmund Leach. See, first, theoretical orientation. He is structuralist, he is neo-structuralist. Okay. Then influence here, Ferdinand de Saussure, okay, whose structural linguistics has influenced him. And here, British social anthropology, okay, Radcliffe Brown, Mayer Fortes, these people have influenced. But you know, the structural functionalist, okay, the structural functionalist influenced him. But again, he did not accept the structural functionalist as it is, because structural functionalists are also telling about the static models. Okay, they were saying that everything that is there in the structure is there to function, it is there to do something. Okay, they are considering it to be static. They did not consider it to be dynamic. He did not accept the static models, but he got influenced that, okay, there is equilibrium. Equilibrium is there, but that is not static equilibrium. That is dynamic equilibrium. So that is the influence you notice here. Ferdinand de Saussure and John Jacobson has influenced this person. And next, what is the methodology they used? He used the structural analysis, comparative structural analysis of myths, kinship systems across the cultures to understand the universal cognitive patterns. This person has done the fieldwork based ethnography focused on historical processes, ritual agency, and the socio-political dynamics. So he went, he saw how the history influenced, how the individual agency influenced, and how the socio-political dynamics are influencing the social structures. But what this person has done, this person has tried to understand the myths and kinship systems, and they have presented some social structures, and he compared them and he tried to discover what is there at the unconscious level, or nothing but hidden rules, which are also called as universal cognitive patterns. So he tried to find them. So this is the primary methodology. Okay, so here he was synchronic. So studying structures at one point of time, he is diachronic. Studying structural transformations over time. Okay, so then you can write whatever we have discussed on myth, how they viewed. So because here he considers myth is not separate, it is culturally embedded and used for ideological purposes, and at the same time they are politically and historically influenced. Whereas according to him, myth is nothing but it is helping in resolving the contradictions, conceptual contradictions, and myth is mediating. Okay, then view of kinship. You can write how they viewed kinship. See, according to Leach, kinship is a politically and ritually negotiated thing, because he observed that in Sri Lanka, among the Ceylon studies that he has conducted, so there he observed how the people manipulate the kinship relations according to the political and the situations that come. So from there, he has said that it is negotiated, or it's a flexible thing in application. Whereas Lévi-Strauss saw it as a universal structure of alliance and reciprocity. Okay, so this is the view of kinship. And I think you're clear and you can write enough points from this with respect to Lévi-Strauss and Edmund Leach. Now we are moving to culture personality school. Shall we do it? Or should I give you the recorded video which you'll watch later? Do you have the patience to continue?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll do it then. Okay, so culture and personality school. So here I'll quickly talk about each one of them. In culture personality school, first you have culture influences personality, personality influences culture, and then you have both influencing each other. So culture influences personality, it is Margaret Mead. Personality influences culture is Ruth Benedict, and culture and personality influences each other is Ralph Linton, Abraham Gardiner, and Cora Dubois. Okay, so first Ruth Benedict, in her Patterns of Culture, introduced the concept of cultural configurations. What are cultural configurations? That you have traits, smallest units, traits combined to form complex, and these complexes combine to form patterns, and these patterns combine to form configurations. Okay, so here she gave in the book Patterns of Culture, sorry, in the work Patterns of Culture, she has said that there is a concept of cultural configurations, and you have cultures. In culture, you have lot of traits. Only some traits are picked by that particular culture, and they form into a dominant personality, and that dominant personality will influence the culture. Now you will be having lot of things in the culture. All the traits are not chosen by that culture. Only some are chosen, and those chosen ones will become very dominant, and that dominant one now will influence the culture. Anybody who is coming, they will also notice the dominant one. Okay, so Ruth Benedict says that through the concept of cultural configurations, she says that cultures promote specific psychological traits. Cultures will promote specific psychological traits And these specific psychological traits, when they are promoted, they will form a consistent ethos. Ethos means values. Okay. So she contrasted the Apollonian with the Dionysian. Okay. So here what she has done, she has used the Gestalt psychology to emphasize that culture is a patterned whole, not mere collection of traits. See, if you see each trait individually, that is different. And if you're seeing each trait as a whole, so that is different. Okay. So it is not just collection of traits, it is more than collection of traits, and it will reflect a personality. Okay. So now here you can see that first culture is having traits and it will pick some traits, and these traits are encouraged and they will become dominant, and this dominant one will determine the kind of culture that you will be having. So personality is formed, and this personality is determining your culture. So personality influences culture is something what Ruth Benedict has talked about. Is it clear? Any doubts? Please speak.
Yes, sir. I have a doubt.
Yeah,
So,
please.
in the stage when the traits are formed, sir, what is the basis of the like? Is there any explanation regarding what is the basis of formation of these traits?
No, there is traits are the smallest units that exist in culture. So formation of traits, we don't have anything.
Okay, sir.
They are the smallest units that are existing in the culture.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Clear.
So this is with respect to Ruth Benedict. Ruth Benedict patterns of culture, and at the same time, she has also talked about sex and temperament. Sorry. So sex
So
and,
that was
sex and temperament is Margaret.
Margaret.
Yeah, I'm just trying to tell regarding the national character studies. Sorry, chrysanthemum and the sword. Okay, so the chrysanthemum and the sword is the national character study done by the Ruth Benedict. Okay, and keep your powder dry is the national character study done by the Margaret Mead. Okay, so next we have Margaret Mead. This is sex and temperament. Okay, and coming of age in Samoa, and the other one is keep your powder dry. These are the three important works of Margaret Mead which you have to remember. So I'll be discussing the contemporary relevance of the national character studies. Okay, so that uh, has been asked in the past, but again, however, we'll be discussing here. I'm not going to focus much on. See, I think you have understood Benedict. Then Margaret Mead, everybody will understand. So Margaret Mead says that, see, your personality is result out of your culture. Suppose your culture is having a particular kind of traits, then it will lead to formation of particular kind of personality. How she could get to know? So now she saw that American adults, mainstream adults, they are at the adolescent stage, they are expressing different kind of characteristics. So she thought that if the same kind of characteristics are present in the other people, then that means it is biological. But if they are not present, if they are present everywhere, that means it is because of biology. But if they are not present, that means it is culture. Now she went to Samoa. So when she went to Samoa, so there she observed that, okay, they are having no such aggression, or like, the people are not stressed at the adolescence. They talk about sex openly. So she observed that the people being very calm and they're not disturbed much. So now she said that, okay, culture is something which is determining your personality. Okay. And she observed the same among the Arapesh, Mundugomer, and Shamboli. Okay, she has observed them and she tried to talk about each one of the community regarding it. Okay, So this is what she has said. Culture influences personality. And coming to Ralph Linton and Abraham Gardiner, these people have talked about the basic personality. Okay, so here basic personality concept was combinedly given by Ralph Linton and Abraham Gardiner. So can anybody tell me what is the name of the work? See, I was talking about sex and temperament, right? So the name of the work was the sex and temperament in 3 primitive societies, Arapesh, Mundugomar and Shumbali. Okay, so in these 3 only, she has studied and she tried to talk about how culture is influencing the personality. Okay, if you see in Arapesh, you will be having paternal aspect and the feminine aspect. So that means you will be noticing both. Okay, so and then in Mundugomar, both the male and female are aggressive. Okay, here you are seeing aggressiveness and feminineness. But here both the male and female are aggressive in the Mundugomar. And whereas in the Shamboli, both of them are expressing. Okay, so if you notice, both of them, women are dominant here. Okay, so here you have men and women. So among them, women are dominant. Okay, and they are impersonal and managerial, whereas men on the other hand are emotional. So here normally, see, you have male and female in America. Okay, male characters here in America is aggressive, female character is emotional. So now here it is opposite. Women are aggressive and men are emotional. Okay, and here both male and female in Mundugomar are aggressive. Here they are same like the Americans. Okay, so this is what she has observed, and she is trying to say, what is she trying to say? She is just trying to say that culture influences your personality. That's it. And I was asking the question that what was the question I asked you regarding?
So their books, their publications.
The book where these both of the Abraham Gardiner and Ralph Linton together talked about the basic personality. What is the name of the work?
Psychological Frontiers of Society, I believe.
The individual and his society. Okay, so the name of the work is The Individual and His Society. So here they have talked about the basic personality. So the concept of basic personality was developed by Ralph Linton and Abraham Gardiner. They defined basic personality as a set of personality traits which are commonly shared. So these personality traits are commonly shared by individuals of a society. And where are these? See, I am trying to define it again. Don't try to rote learn. Basic personality trait. I'm sorry. Basic personality type, how is it forming? So when there are certain set of personality traits. Now, there are set of personality traits, and these personality traits you're not seeing in one person, but you're seeing in all the shared individuals in the society. And how are these people getting this personality traits? They are getting by the primary institution. These are shaped by the primary institutions. So the primary institutions are nothing but which are the institutions required for early survival. So child rearing practices, kinship system or subsistence patterns, these are all the primary institutions. So according to them, basic personality is nothing but the personality traits which are shared by the individuals in the society. Okay, these are commonly shared. And where do they get them from? They get from the primary institutions. Okay, so according to Gardiner, every society creates in its members a consistent personality structure Okay, every society creates a consistent personality structure in its members. So that is mirror of its institutional arrangement. So now you have marriage, you have family, you have kinship, you have schools. Okay, you have something else. Now, whatever you are going to see the personality, this personality structure is mirroring these institutional arrangements. So this is called as basic personality according to Gardiner and Linton. Where did they give? They gave in the book, The Individual and His Society. So primary institutions, these are the culturally structured institutions that influence the earliest socialization process. Okay. So what is the relationship between a basic personality type and the primary institutions? See.
So that they shape the personality directly.
Yes, primary institutions shape the basic personality type. And the secondary institutions do not directly come from the environmental conditions, but it is the basic personality type that is mediating as a whole, and that is creating the secondary institutions. So I'll be showing you an example of Marcus's society. Okay, suppose in the childhood it has been told that woman is something which woman is dangerous or woman is bad. Now what happens? These people have developed a basic personality trait, and from this you'll create a secondary institution that they'll create a myth or they'll create an art showing that woman is dangerous, woman cannot be believed. Okay, so that is there in that society. So secondary institutions do not stem directly from the environmental conditions, but they are shaped by the basic personality type, which is mediating variable between the primary institution and secondary institution. Are you getting my point? Are you clear? Any doubt over here?
No, sir.
So just here you have to add. Here you have to add the findings. Okay, so you can see that they have studied. Ralph Linton has studied Comanche Indians and the Native American tribe, and the study has also been done by among Aloris by Cora Du Bois. Cora Du Bois conducted extensive fieldwork, ethnographic fieldwork among the Aloris. This is in Alor Island of Indonesia. She collected a lot of psychological data and ethnographic data. She used the autobiographies, she used the dream reports, she used the children's drawings, she has used the intelligence test, which is also known as projective test. So among the projective tests, you have Rorschach test and you have thematic apperception test. So Rorschach test, thematic apperception. See, initially I thought I'll be discussing the straightforward quick revision part, but later on I thought that because these theories form the core. Okay, so once in the beginning itself, because of lack of understanding of the concepts, if you lose your confidence, that will kill your morale. So that I thought, like, at least in the first two classes, let me be more detailed on these topics, so that somebody, if they are not confident on anthropological thought, they can get good confidence because of this. So if you want me to change anything, you can please let me know. And if I'm sorry if I'm taking more time of yours for theories. So any suggestions from your end? If you want me to change anything, please you can tell me. I'll be changing accordingly. No issue. Okay. So we have seen the Ralph Linton and Abraham Gardiner. They have talked about the basic personality, and basic personality is shaped by the primary institutions, and that will shape the secondary institutions. But this was not having this has not been done based on the what do you call, ethnographic fieldwork, and that is the criticism they have met. Okay, so they're trying to talk something without any proper tests. So that's why the student of these two people, that is Cora Dubois, has done extensive fieldwork. She has done the tests and she has collected the ethnographic data. And through this, she has said that, see, everybody is not having the common personality traits, but the personality traits, they are mostly common among most of the people. Okay, so everyone is not sharing it, but most of the people are sharing it. Okay, so she said that most frequently occurring personality is called as model personality. She introduced a new, much more nuanced concept known as model personality. See, you know, mean, median, and mode. Mode means which is most frequently occurring. Suppose 2, 2, 3, 2, 5. So what is the most frequently occurring? 2. So the mode is 2. So similarly, there is a personality which is most frequently occurring, P1, P1, P1. This is P2, P3. So what is most frequently occurring personality? That is called as model personality. So here in the first one, in the basic personality, it is telling that everybody is having the common, but now it is accepting that there is individual variation, unlike the basic personality type, which implies the homogeneity. And at the same time, it refers to the statistically most common personality traits in the group. It also suggests that though there is dominant personality traits that are culturally produced, but not all individuals conform uniformly. So that is what she talks about the model personality test. And regarding the, what do you call, the kind of methodology that has been used. Okay, so that is very important. Here you need to understand the projective tests. Projective tests are the psychological tools that are developed to elicit unconscious responses. See, suppose they'll show you something, unconsciously you'll react. So these are the projective tests are not, normally in the books they are mentioned, but most of the times people don't even understand what is the meaning of it. So projective tests are nothing but these are psychological tools. Why these tools have been brought? By using the tools, they will create unconscious responses. Okay, so through ambiguous stimuli. So these were adapted by the anthropologists to explore the latent cultural values and personality traits. So you have Rorschach Inkblot test. Okay, so this is the test adapted by Cora Dubois in her People of Allure, and she identified it. So in this Inkblot test, and the next is thematic perception, apperception test. Okay, these are the two things that you have noticed. So I think you are clear with the methodologies that have been used.
Yes, sir.
Right. So now we'll move to the important aspect, the critical examination of all these people, their studies. Okay, so they have given this well and good, but they have got their own flaws. First thing, they might ask you, examine critically the basic premises of the culture and personality school. Okay, so first they said that culture is a configurational pattern. Ruth Benedict, right? So in her famous book Patterns of Culture, she argued that each society selects particular segment of human potentialities and they'll choose particular traits and they will develop it into a dominant cultural ethos. And these ethos contrast with each other. Okay, so this is what she has said. And enculturation and malleability of human nature. Okay, so this school said that adult behavior, whatever the adult behavior that is there, it is culturally patterned. See, first one, culture is nothing but a configurational pattern by Ruth Benedict. Then enculturation, that means whatever the adult behavior that is there, it is based on the culture. It is through lifelong process of enculturation. This was by Margaret Mead. And then childhood experiences. Ralph Linton and Abraham Gardiner, what do they say? They say that childhood experiences will shape your personality. Okay. And basic and model personality we have seen, that is what is said by Ralph Linton, Abraham Gardiner, and Cora Dubois. Okay. Here we have got basic and model personality structures that we have studied. Is my screen visible?
No, sir.
So now the critical examination is that, first of all, first point is stereotyping. This approach is stereotyping. That means heavily criticized for treating societies as entirely homogeneous and assuming all members are sharing the same cultural knowledge. Right? Critics argued that labeling an entire society with single personality type, it has created cultural stereotypes and it failed to take into account for the individual variation, internal conflicts, and subcultures. And second thing, Ratcliffe Brown has criticized and dismissed this school's theories as vague abstractions. They have heavily relied on the subjective psychological interpretations or intuitions or projective tests. They're often utilizing very small sample sizes and they're trying to create very big generalization. And this was criticized as being impressionistic and hard to disprove. And they do not have any empirical rigor. So how can you prove it? You cannot prove anything. And second thing, they did not take into consideration the material and historical factors. So you see, by focusing almost entirely on non-material and psychological aspects of the society, Benedict and others were accused of ignoring the role of physical environments or technological evolution or colonial histories or the political economies in shaping the personalities. They did not take this into consideration. They failed to explain why societies developed specific. You are telling that this society is having this cultural pattern. You did not tell why they have this or how these patterns have changed over a period of time under material pressures. So these things they did not discuss. So that is the critical aspect, so which you can mention in your answer. Okay. So are you clear? Anyone who is not clear over here? Quick. Anyone who is not clear? Clear. So, sir, how do we explain the difference between personality types ideas advocated by primary institutions and actually practiced by a particular society? Rajnish, you can talk to me personally. I did not get your doubt. We'll discuss it. So we'll do one thing. We'll stop the session here today because my charge is also almost about to end. So what I'll do, I'll record the remaining and I'll be uploading the video. You can watch it early in the morning. So I'll be giving the summary of what we have discussed. So you can use that to generate the points and write the answers. Okay. So because I've been using multiple research aspects and the different University of Alabama and then history of anthropological theories. So different books I have been using to discuss. But what I'll do, I'll create a summary of this and I'll share it. Rashid, then in that case, then I have to discuss very less in the class if I have to create a handout for you. Okay, so if I have to give handouts before the class, then I have to discuss only few concepts, whatever that is there in the syllabus itself. I cannot go beyond it. So if you want me to limit what is discussed traditionally, then I can give the handouts. Because I have been working on different books, different papers, and I try to bring everything at one place so that you people can understand. But to make notes, it is not easy. It will take a lot of time to create notes from all those sources. I can teach because I have gone through, but to put exactly in the form of notes, this short span is not sufficient any time. So yeah,
No,
please.
so my point is not that you have to provide us every single detail that you're discussing in class. Obviously, it might not be possible because you're attending classes to get a better conceptual understanding. But my point is, if we could really focus on what all is important, like you uh, stressed on certain topics that were
Yeah,
discussed
all
by
those things,
Lévi-Strauss.
whatever I have discussed, I'll be giving you in an orderly fashion. In the same order I have discussed, I'll be giving you a PDF where the points are there, but it won't be the same explanation that I have given because I am
Of course,
explaining.
of
It
course,
won't be
of
there.
course.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
No, somebody
Yes,
has
sir.
commented there that they need beforehand because you will only get something which you don't understand beforehand. So it's better that you
No,
attend the class.
sir.
Yeah.
So my point was completely different. Basically, I
No,
just
I'm
wanted.
talking about someone else's comment, not about yours.
Okay, so basically, my point was that we could get like an index of what all topics we're going to study, so that we can review it beforehand.
Yeah.
Uh,
See, I'll tell
that
you
is
one thing. See, here my objective is to help you people get very good scores and help you
yes.
people go confidently into the exam hall, not being afraid that tomorrow if they ask some different questions, how am I going to attempt? Or I am worried about the conceptual part, or I am not recalling something. See, recalling part can be focused later. But once you
All right.
understand, you develop the depth, automatically the flow will come. So Rashid, I'm doing my best to give you the notes as well, but I would say that the notes will be beneficial after the class, not before the class. So that's why I'm not giving the pre-handouts. So what I'll do, I'll be completing the culture personality school and symbolic interpretative theories by hook or crook today, and I'll be uploading the video. And that you please do watch in the morning and do finish it, and the handout also will come to you. So I'm
All
extremely
right.
sorry I'm not able to take on the digital board because the new premises is under work. So there it is lots of disturbance. I had to go through some struggle for 2-3 days. Okay.
All right. So thank you so
Okay.
much.
So thank you everyone. We'll get back tomorrow. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Rajnish, you were having some doubt. Please get in personal touch. So we'll discuss the doubt. And Rashid, you can also get in touch. We can also discuss if there is something which you didn't understand or anything you want to convey. So we can discuss that. Okay, everyone. Good night.